Hi, welcome back to Open Frequency. We're talking about the voting age and human rights. Since the 2002, Pakistan government has lowered the age for suffrage to 18 as opposed to 21. With the elections looming, the political parties are asking all those who were 18 on the 1st of January 2007 to come vote in the elections. The question you put before the break was that the students are not that intelligent.
Yeah, politically.
What do you have to say about lowering this age?
I mean, you know, at such a young age, we're not mature enough to make these big decisions. Look at our parents, for instance. They've lived their lives in Pakistan for the past, say, maybe 50 years, and they know what the situation is.
So you're saying the bar shouldn't have been lowered at all?
No, not at all. Absolutely.
You are not in a position to say that we are not politically aware. It differs from person to person. Someone might have more of an interest in politics. Someone might be
The fact is that our first argument was that the students are rioting because they want to make a difference, and they're resorting. If they can't do it by peaceful means, they're going to do it by violent means. By lowering the voting age, you're giving them the right to make a difference without using violent means. You're saying, yes, you can vote, you can make a difference.
Voter turnouts are very low anyway. They don't go to the polls to vote. They don't bother to go outside. If we're lowering it, we should first check statistics that these people are actually utilizing their vote, going out and actually bothering.
I feel the political options that we have in Pakistan are firstly very limited, and it's choosing between a rock and a hard place, right? And if someone who's 45 years old, who's lived in this country, who's loved this country, is having trouble deciding who to go for, because there's no really good option. I think, if they can't decide, why not give a chance for the 18-year-olds to decide?
Exactly.
Why not give them a
But
chance?
The point is what you were saying earlier about the fact that the younger you are, the less politically aware you are. The problem would arise was that if they made it mandatory and compulsory for all 18 and above to vote, but the fact is that it's a choice. All the government is doing, all the government is doing,
exactly.
giving us is giving the
look at
people
all these
who
places
want
where
to
the
vote.
Vaderas live.
No.
Look at that.
It's giving the people who want to vote the right to
Fine, then the question becomes, then is it important to vote or not? Because we have the choice to abstain.
18-year-olds are less politically unaware. How could you say that? We are far more aware now. 20 years ago, our parents, when they were this age, were not as aware as we are today.
As exposed.
We are exposed to technology. We're far more updated with everything around us and our surroundings. We're far more aware than what it was 20 years ago. So we should have a right to vote.
Absolutely, you just made your own point. You said that they've been living here for 20 years. I mean, for 50 years. Out of those 50 years, for the past 20 years, they've seen what it's like. They should be given the right to vote, not us.
Usman, a democracy only functions on the principle of accountability, which basically means elected officials are held accountable to their constituents. Now, if they feel the constituents will sit at home, they wouldn't care what happens, what they do, they'll take advantage of that. However, if we come out in the polls and we say we support one person, if it's a bad move, we can always move our support, right? We are aware enough to do that. And basically this makes them feel more accountable, and this makes them take steps that are more beneficial for the constituency rather than just themselves. It's accountability. So it's a principle that must be enacted.
So we've got more people in favor of younger people voting.
Right. Because
in light of that, recently, let's say, since the government lowered the voting age to 18, isn't this a kind of a paradox that the same people they're just allowed to vote, they're cracking down on exactly those people?
Yeah, government's confused. That's what I'm saying. The fundamental issue is the government policies, not the student rioting or anything. Okay. The problem is with our government and the fact that they don't know what they're doing.
You cannot blame everything on the government.
Yes, you can.
If you want to blame the government for everything, take a second to realize that the fact is that
we're the ones who are indecisive.
One of the main problems with our kind of political system is that our political parties do not have votes within themselves, because the people in society are not willing to join those political parties. In other places in the world, like Germany, for example, it's mandatory, you have to be in a political party. The society has a direct relation to your political parties because the people from society make up that party. The fact is that that's how you directly influence. The government has nothing to do with it. Our political parties need to start recruiting more people from society, start getting elections within them.
Let's move on to our next topic, a slightly heated one, government. Pakistan has had 4 military governments since 1947. Some say it's good, some say it performed well compared to democratic leadership. On this basis, some people think that we are no better off in democracy either. So, when it comes to performance, does it matter if it's a military government or
yes, it does.
I'm sorry, our country.
It does matter because
all the pros who say that it matters what kind of government is there, military or democracy. Does it have to do anything with economics and performance?
Yes, it
yes.
has a lot
in
to
a
do
free
with
market,
economics.
democracy is always beneficial because in a democracy there's accountability, as Nadir mentioned.
Have you really seen that?
Not in this country. Democracy is not good for Pakistan right now. Maybe
is
in the
there
next 10 in a free market economy, I agree with globalization and everything. Democracy and globalization go hand in hand. There are two concepts which cannot go one without the other. But in Pakistan, that is not true. China is by theory a communist country, but it is so capitalist now.
It is still ruled by a Politburo that meets every year.
It is in theory communist, but it is capitalist. That is the biggest.
Politically, it is.
I'm going to put a narrow question this way. People credit this government's performance to the fact that they might be military or in the absence of democracy. So people sometimes make these associations that democracy does not necessarily bring economic progress or democracy does bring economic progress.
No, that's true.
Do you guys think there's a relation?
Yes,
as long as in the end the problems of the people are solved, if they're resolved, it doesn't matter whether it's a military.
Nothing to do with our
military rule is always going to lack accountability because any ISI agent or anyone can just lock up people like they are doing right now. Without democracy, we don't have bars. We don't have bars of things. It does.
It has nothing to do with that.
Don't you know that the army is backing certain people
behind bars? We're the people who make up the economy.
No, see, in our economy of today, the government, the military government was the one that improved it. The military government is the one that influenced it. We don't have a democracy. If we did, the recent trend,
I disagree completely.
No, it is.
Hold on, let me make a point.
The recent trend in our economic growth and our economic policies is all because of the military government support of the war on terrorism. Do you agree? Do you not agree?
I disagree.
It's true. It's
I disagree.
Fact. It's a fact that our foreign exchange reserves have increased by about 1,200% because of the military government support.
But
if
why?
we had a democracy,
it is also a fact
if we had a democracy, we would support Iraq. We would not support the war on terrorism because we do not agree with it. As a majority, our people do not. So a democracy would not have supported America. A democracy would not have influenced the amount of foreign aid into our country.
Foreign aid, without knowing what democracy would do.
Because that's the majority.
One by one.
This foreign aid for the war is not going to the people. It's not going to the industries. It's going straight into the pockets of the military.
But it's bringing economic growth. It's looking good on paper.
What economic growth?
Okay, fine. Then what can we credit economic growth to? Institution building, war on terror.
The war on terrorism is the reason we have
such
a vast foreign
You're basically saying that the reason why our economy is booming is because of other people's funds.
Yes, it is completely.
So fine. The point being made is that it's debatable whether our economy has improved a lot or whether it has improved. Let's talk about institutions. Have our institutions improved?
No.
Pick one.
The judiciary, it's a mess right now.
No, I think it's really admirable that the judiciary has come to this point. Fine, it may be in a mess, but it has stood up to the government. You know, it could have easily just quietly rubber stamped all of our government's policies.
And what has happened?
What about
what has come out from
one point I would like to make. For the last 8 years, we have had a military dictatorship. In the last 8 years, our foreign exchange reserves have gone from 0.5 billion to 12.5 billion. We have also had an economic growth rate, which was the third highest in the world 2 years ago. Then, that was all a dictatorship. Now, recently, we have tried to go, let's have a democracy. Everyone wants democracy. So certain people come back into the country. Everyone rallies for democracy. What happens? Everything falls to pieces. Everyone has pulled out their foreign direct investment into Pakistan.
It is a fact that political instability negatively affects economic growth.
Exactly.
Democracy is not. It's a transition. It's a transition.
Hold on.
Transition is by definition unstable.
In a stabilized society right now, economic growth is only going into the pockets of the few. Why is the price of food rising so much? People are going to utility stores, queuing up. Why is that happening if the economy is so good?
And that's happening right now when democracy is coming into place.
Look at the Gini coefficient. This economic growth. This economic growth.
The thing is that we can't do everything at once. You have to start small and then go big. You can't take a bankrupt country with like measly pocket change in our foreign exchange reserves and say, oh, we should make every single person Pakistan rich.
Tanya, this 0.5 to $12 billion growth. How evenly has it been distributed in our society?
You have to start small. First, we look good on paper. Once we get enough foreign exchange, then you distribute
this
the
foreign exchange,
is all very good, but we're running out of time, and we can fairly conclude that we're all disillusioned with the myth of economic growth and what actually led to it. When we come back from the break, we're going to discuss free and fair elections.